Hello everybody, good day to you and welcome back. Glad you guys are here. I know, I'm super glad to be here. We are returning to a 2000, I think it's an 09 Chevrolet Equinox with a 3.6 liter. We've seen this car before many months ago. I ended up doing a bunch of suspension work on it. It's a 2010. That's what the sticker says. The mileage inside, bear with me folks, tells us we are sitting cool at approximately, I can't stall anymore, can't get the number, I don't know how many miles it has on it, 100-something thousand maybe. Now I gotta know, hang on. There it is, 171, 320 miles on the odometer. Like I said, we did some work on this thing before with the suspension. It's been here since yesterday. Mr. Dave did some brake service work on it. He put new hoses on there. We did a couple fluid exchanges on it. And now it's my turn. And what we're gonna do today is dig out a leaking water pump that is below this engine mount, in front of this engine, behind that frame rail, under this airbox. I understand that this particular pump has had a very small leak for quite some time, and now we're going to go ahead and address that leak. We know it has a small leak because right down here, see that right there? That orange business, that is engine coolant. And if we look up a little bit higher, we can see a little bit of coolant right there underneath that water pump pulley. And there's also a little bit right there to the left of it too. See that little streak right there? That's from coolant being flung out from the pulley as the pulley's rotating. So what we're gonna do is let this thing back down, dig out all this stuff that's in the way, unbolt that pump, and see if we cannot squeeze that thing out. Now, curiously, the book says, actually the labor guide says a couple things on this. One labor guide was calling for 4.5 hours. Then the other guide called for 3.2 with add-ons that put it up to 5.5 hours. So I'm not really sure how much time this is gonna take. So having said that, I just want to go ahead and dive right into it because I don't want to be here all day under the hood of this 2010 Chevrolet Equinox with the 3.6 liter. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got a light bar set up. We're going to start pulling all this stuff apart here, dig that motor mount out, and see what we can do about extracting our water pump unit. So stay tuned because this is going to be a very good video. Opening the hood. Look who that guy is. So I'm a believer that the best place to start is right from the beginning. Oh, lost that. So let's go ahead and start pulling these connectors out, hoses and whatnot, and we'll get the airbox removed. And we'll see how far this onion has to be peeled back before we can dig out that water pump. That's not what I meant, and you know it. Stop fighting with me. That's not what I meant. She's picking on me.
I cooked once.
I didn't say that. I said me. I cooked once.
No, you said.
That was an example. I was using that as an example of I cooked, and then you made it about you.
Oh, I figured you know since you cooked once before.
That's not that you're misrepresenting what I said. That's why I started recording you. I have witnesses. Just say it. Anyway, we gotta pull this airbox out now.
I put things in the microwave.
Microwaving, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about though. Nothing at all. I think I have to take this apart because it seems to, oh, you know what? Hang on, there's bolts in the back of this thing. That's what we're doing. There's some bolts back there that have us hung up. Hang on, yeah, there's a 10 right there. I thought this was connected with grommets, and it's connected with bolts and grommets. Error in judgment. See, the wife unit distracted me. I was over here thinking about microwaves and cook times and whatnot, and I completely forgot to pay attention to my nuts. Bolts. You know what I'm talking about, these things. Anyway, let's dig our airbox out. We can set this unit aside. I didn't take it apart. Filters inside of it. It's encapsulated all by itself. You stay right there. And we have a motor mount now. So it looks like I need a floor jack to support the engine. And then we need a 18, some 16s, and some more 16s on the side, and that's gonna take apart this mount bracket assembly business right here. Floor jack rolling. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick this floor jack down under and make contact with the oil pan, and then this will support the engine in lieu of that motor mount that we have to take off. There we go. Drive this thing right on over, run into my stuff, maneuver it around. Uh-oh, I'm stuck. Oh, four-wheel drive. There we go. Oh, yeah. I need more shop space. Look at that. My snap-on floor jack thing is in the way. That's a new one. I had to replace the blue one because the blue one that we had on the other side of the shop became broken, and it almost made us drop a transmission, so I ended up getting or upgrading it to a higher end professional level center post transmission jack. Also good for fuel tanks and whatnot. Anyway, right there is our oil pan. We have contact with the pan. Looking good. We're not putting a bunch of pressure on it, so no, I'm not going to break the oil pan. It is aluminum. No, I'm not going to break it. So now that jack should have the weight of the engine. We can start removing these bolts here and get all these mounts and brackets and whatnot out of the way. All right, 18 mil on the 1/2 inch coming in. We'll get the 2 studs on this front section of the mount. Crack those loose first, then we'll get the rest of the fasteners here. Let me flip this around, unclick edges. I don't think this is gonna come apart. Negative, it's not. So we need to get, looks like a 15 on these 3 fasteners, and that's going to separate this section of mount from the engine itself. There's one of them, yep. Numero dos. Last one. Did the engine move a little bit? That's the weight transferring fully onto that floor jack. Pull those guys aside and set them up on the wiper cowl right there so they don't go anywhere. Pull this unit out, and this is our front engine mount. Gravity. And upon closer inspection of the rubber, we can see it's not damaged, so we can reuse this component later on. I don't put broken engine mounts back in, so if it's broke when I pull it out, you're buying a new one. Okay, so we still have this big support bracket bar looking business here, and I think that's 18 mil bolts running through that guy. Yeah. So let's get some unclick action here. Get this thing pulled out. I think it's just the 3 fasteners. There's one there. Flashlight, gravitas. That's Latin. Neutral drop. Let's see if it'll break it loose. That's it. Nope. Yeah. There we go. Oh, you know what? I'm about to catch some I forgot to park my wedding jewelry here. I'm gonna put that aside. I don't want to lose a flange because I was violating OSHA standards. I'm not being sarcastic. You guys are totally right. I've been wearing that ring at work too many times. I actually almost lost my finger once. You guys were totally right about that. 1000% right. In fact, I'll show you how I did it. Hang on a minute here. Let's do a little mini story time. We've exposed the serpentine belt. We'll come right back to that in a moment. Well, there was this one time, once upon a time at the dealership, I was climbing up onto a rack arm like this one. It was like about yay high. Stepped on a stool, climbed up, reached into the cabin, turned on the ignition key or whatever, and my hand was up here on the rack. Now that particular rack had bolts like this, but the studs were sticking out some. And when I went to, like, pretend this was like right here, when I went to jump back down, the ring had caught the edge of the stud, and I felt it tug on my hand, and I was like, no! And I had like this spasm thing because it was stuck, and I was on my way down, so I was in the middle of the fall, so to speak. I was jumping down off the rack, and I felt it kind of hang up on the thread. It caught like the last thread of the bolt, and had it caught harder, it could have plucked my finger off, and that would not have been okay. So yes, I do listen to you guys, and yes, I do have a silicone wedding band, and yes, I am concerned about losing my phalanges, so I'm not going to do that. Anyway, here is our water pump. I gotta tell you, I don't think this thing's gonna call for 3.5 hours of labor. I really don't. Let's go ahead, let's get a tool on that belt tensioner right yonder down there. That's our tensioner unit. Let's untension this belt, get a tool on this thing, pull the belt off, and then we'll walk that pump out of the engine. Now, before that belt comes off, there is one thing that needs to happen. You see, this water pump here is, it's got the pulley on it. Gravitas again. Why do magnets not work when I'm filming? Anyway, the pulley is bolted onto the flange on the pump. If we take the belt off, then the pulley will be free spinning and we will not be able to pull the bolts out of the pump. So I'm just going to break those loose right now. That way it's easier in the future. That's a forward-thinking behavior right there. However, on the inverse, it's very easy to forget to tighten those. So it's something that definitely has to be paid attention to and not neglected during the reassembly phase. Anyway, those are now loose. So we're going in with the 1/2-inch ratchet. That's going to fit into our tensioner here and allow me to untension this unit. So we're just gonna give it a tug. See how the tensioner is turning? Give it a pull, slip the belt off of one of the smooth face idler pulleys, let it relax. Sneak our tensioner removal device, aka ratchet, back out. Set that aside. And now we can just kind of pull this belt up and out of the way. We'll just hang it right here on that hose. Now we can get to the pulley bolts and pull those guys off. Those bolts are still a little too tight for hand flangey torque. Spin it around some. There we go. And now the pulley's coming off. See that? Pull that guy right on out. So what we can do here, you guys ask me a lot of times, how do I avoid losing all my fasteners? And I just put them back with the part that they go with. See that? Then we can just set this guy right aside. And now we know that those 4 bolts go to that that pulley. And we have found the source of the leakages. Take a look at all that crusty buildup right here on the side of this pump. See that? It might be coming through the weep hole and then spilling out because I see some traces of coolant right there on top of that pump. But somewhere along this side here is where our primary leak is going to be found. So let's go ahead and get back in there and get this thing disconnected and unbolted. We'll pull the unit out and get it swapped with a new one. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and actually remove this belt entirely from the vehicle. I'd like to avoid spilling coolant on it. They tend to squeal really bad when you get coolant on them, so I'm changing directions here. We're pulling this thing out. If I can, yeah, I can't squeeze it out of the tensioner. I have to take the tensioner off. I'm just gonna leave it like right here and pull it way out of the way. Change my mind again on the fly. So what I was really trying to say is I would like to avoid getting coolant on the belt. There we go. That's what I wanted to communicate. There, we'll switch to a deeper socket to clear that hub face right there. Oh, what have I done? See that? It wedged in there. That almost could have been bad. It's not okay to wedge your socket in and then get it stuck. So if it wedges in, you can't turn direction and then run it back. So you end up very, very stuck. Let's see, the bottom one, there's one down on the bottom. Let's learn our lesson, just break that one loose without getting the ratchet stuck against the side of the car. Sideways. There we go. It's a phantom swivel. Let's get that bottom bolt out of there. We're already starting to leak coolant out of it. See that? Okay, a couple more bolts left. Oh, I hear some truck action outside. We must have some deliveries. I wonder what it is. All right, now we're leaking. We're leaking pretty good here. I have a drain pan down there, by the way, so have no fear. And there's our old pump with a crusty looking gasket. Okay. Don't need that. Well, hey, this is cool. I get an opportunity to use my super scraper. It's got a tungsten carbide end on it. I just got this thing from the USA tool truck a few weeks ago. It's a, I think it's an Astro tool. Yeah, it's an Astro 9532 tungsten carbide scraper. It's just a super sharp and straight hardened edge, and it's designed to run across perfectly on these gasket surfaces and clean away all of that debris and nasty and buildup. That way you can have a nice clean surface for sealing. The catch is since that is hardened and sharp, you can actually dig into the aluminum and deform it, so you have to be very careful when using scrapers of this caliber. Otherwise you'll break things, and that's not okay. Okay, I think that's the majority. Gravity. Anyway, I think that's the majority of all the gasket material. However, there is a very, very small bits and pieces left over of sealant and contaminant or whatever. So I'm gonna go in there with a pneumatic little grinder real fast and just polish away just the remaining little tidbits that are in there. It's not really a grinder or a polisher, it's just like it's a gasket prep surface type material, moderately abrasive. Okay, so here's what we have going on here. I've got a pneumatic, that means it's powered by air pressure, little polishing wheel. Now these come in a different, several different grits. I think this is like an 80. And then we can also use these little flanged finger polisher types. These are just plastic. And these also come in different levels of hardness. I could use this one here, but the issue will be is as these things speed up, they will expand and they can run into, or it actually changes the shape of it, and it'll run into things and make it a little bit more difficult to clean. I may go back through with a second pass in the plastic one, but first I'm gonna hit it with this guy here. Very low speed, and we're constantly gonna keep moving so we don't dig away at the aluminum. We just wanna polish off all the contaminants on the surface. Loud noises. Yeah, it's all good except for that one corner down there. No matter. We'll go in with a towel and just do it manually. There, that feels good. Looks good too. We'll wipe all the debris out of the coolant passages here. Get rid of that. There we go. Okay. That's looking good. I like it. Okay, new pump ready to go in. We can see our impeller mounting flange is nice and super clean, and then we've got our hub face for the pulley to bolt onto. And they have given us, with the pump, a new set of bolts and a new gasket right in here. So here, let's open this thing up. Not violently, because we can distort and bend the gasket. It's a metallic gasket, and we don't want to ruin that. So I'll take my new bolts, and we'll set these guys aside, get rid of the plastic, and get this thing set up and installed. So what I will do here is we're going to put two of these fasteners in. Let me index this properly real quick. Like, I don't know which direction it points. Weep hole pointed up. See that little guy? That's in case the seal on the back of this starts to leak. The coolant can escape and come out. Hence the term weep hole. It's for when it's weeping. So we're going to go in this orientation. What I shall do is put two of the fasteners in at the top. Then we'll slip the gasket over them, and those are going to locate the gasket and keep it in position. See that? Now we can lower this down and bolt it up to the block. So we take this unit, lower it down, and get those 2 bolts started. That's why we started at the top, because those are the easiest to reach. See that? Try that with a bottom bolt, you might foobar it, and like kind of like what I'm doing right now. Stay. I had to reposition myself here. There we go, 2 of them are in, so now the gasket is located, it can't fall out. The pump is located, that can't fall out. So, let us lower down. That was the tool, don't worry about that. Lower down the remainder of these fasteners. And we'll get them all nice and tight like. That's the bottom one there. Yeah, it kind of kills me this thing was calling for like up to 5 hours of labor. That's ridiculous. That's too much money. I mean, I get we have an inflationary issue right now where our money's devalued and it's worth less than it was before, but that doesn't mean we can bill 5 hours for something like that. That's just not okay. See, this is a repeat business model, and you know, you hit them once, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, they might not come back. And we have a need for customers and clients to return. So if you rip them off, they're not going to return. And that is not a sustainable business model. We don't want to do that. That one's too far out. Let's run that in with our flanges here. Well, with my flanges, it's your eyes. Your eyes, my flanges. There we go. Okay, torque wrench time. The specs on this are 2 passes at 89 inch-pounds of torque, and then 45 degrees after 89 inch-pounds of torque. There we go, 89, skip 1. That was close, but I saw it move. That's 89, skip 1, 89, down to the bottom. Let me finger feel that one. That's 89. Clickages, actual clicks. One more here. Okay, so that's first pass, 89 inch-pounds. Second pass confirms that nothing has relaxed. Yep. 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 That's what the spec says. A lot of times I skip this stuff and everybody's going, you didn't torque the thing down. You didn't do it right. You're fired.
You are done. Fired.
So now we're going to switch out to a regular ratchet. We have to add 45 degrees of bolt rotation to these fasteners. So we're starting at 12 o'clock. 3 o'clock right here is 90 degrees. So we're looking for like right about here. At 45, that's actually feeling really tight, but I'll go with it. So 90's here, 45's pointing like right here. These are torque to yield fasteners. That's the deal. A little bit more on this one. There we go. There we go. Did I get this one already? Nope. And the one on the bottom. Come on now, get on there. $45 degrees. All right. One more. Okay. Those guys are all torqued as per the manufacturer's specifications. Let's get the pulley down in position here. Still have all the fasteners in it. We can pull 2 out because if I don't, they will fall down and get lost. We're going to reference these bolt holes vertically and horizontally. Slide this pulley into position here. Got a lot of hardware in one small space here, fellas. Hang on, bear with me. I'm trying to get one of these fasteners started. Hang on, I'm losing it. I dropped one of the fasteners. Dropped it, caught it at the same time. Try this one at a time here. Cool. There we go, got one. We'll run that down all the way like that. Spin her around. Let's get the other two in position here. Other three. And then we'll hit that with the electron ratchet, put some torque on those fasteners, and then we can reroute the belt. 3/8 coming in. Send them. There we go. Good. Now, our belt needs to come into position here, but we do have a bunch of coolant still on those pulleys. I would like to remove said coolant from the pulleys so they do not contaminate the belt. Okay, let's prepare our cleaning apparatus for that coolant, and then we'll go ahead and get started here. So what we need in order to clean this is a punch of some sort. Watch this. Oh, there we go. Now, what I have created here is a long-range washing device. Now, there's no coolant on the pulleys to contaminate anything. Goodbye, coolant. Ooh, watch this, watch this, watch this. Gotcha.
Really?
Why not? It's fun. No! Oh God, no! I don't know what's in that. It's throw a towel at me full of nuts and bolts or something. Okay. All right, let's get this belt back on right here. And then we can start the engine after that motor mount gets put back together. So we'll feed the belt down, get it around the power steering in the back, the power steering pulley back there. I believe I need to flip this down and under the crank pulley, and I'm sorry if I'm working outside of y'all's field of view here. Rather limited spacings. Then I'm gonna have to pull the belt diagram out because I forgot how the rest of this stuff goes. Yeah. Did I take a pulley or something off? How did we do this earlier? I don't recall. What have I done? Maybe it goes, nope. Okay, trying again. Let's go with what we know. So I know the power steering is already on. This is a ribbed on this side, so that has to go over top of the water pump. And the only place it can go from there is gonna have to be over the alternator, which is back down over here. So that means we have to run from the alternator. Here's the error. I'm going around the compressor too soon. That's my problem here. Let's get that off the compressor. We go around the nadir, and then under that smooth idler, we have to go there. Then after the idler, we go down under the compressor. Then where am I making my error at? Oh, here we go, here we go. I should not be going under the crank pulley down there. We need to go at it from this side, which is around from the bottom here. That's what we did wrong. Now I'm figuring this out. So we will pull this back off of the alternator to get more slack. Then we have enough space to go back around the crank. There we go. Now we're cooking. So I just need to hit that with a tensioner, slap that back onto the alternator, and we're good here. So coming back in with the ratchet. I can squeeze it in there. There we go. Really tight squeeze. Come here. click that on. Oh, get on there. So I need to give it a pull and relieve tension. And then go around the nature. Oh, that's tight. Redo. Take it off the idler, around the nadir, then the idler. There we go. Now I may relieve tension on the tensioner. Pop that guy back out. Belt is now installed. Good to go. That's how she goes. Just like that. Okie dokes, now that the easy part is done, let's go ahead and start getting engine mounts back down in their positions here and bolted in. Big one, big whatever you call it, bracket, the beam, the mount, cylinder head support, I don't know what they call the thing. Whatever they call it, it's big, it's aluminum, and it's got 3 fasteners. Slide these guys on in. There we go. How did I pull those out with the 3/8 impact, right? I think so. Click. No, I didn't. I pulled these out with the electron ratchet. Can't fit back in that hole there. That's not going to happen. Let's get rid of that guy. And we'll switch it out with our electronical ratchet. And I'll just manually torque that last one. Clickage. A little bit more. There we go. That one's good. And the other piece of the mount, we drop that down directly in its position right here. This is where you can kind of get caught up on something like this. What we don't want to do is tighten down these 2 studs and nuts here, because if there's any misalignment going on, which there is, because the engine had sunk down slightly when I pulled these 3 bolts out. So what we want to do is get these bolts started first, because we don't have to worry about alignment here because we have studs that are holding on to this section. But we've got to get these guys started and threaded and then tight. Then we can put torque on the other 2 down below. Which, let's go ahead and put those big nuts in right now. Yep, see how that pulled the engine up slightly? If this was tight and stationary, you might have a hard time doing that, and you may not even be able to get the threads to line up. Stole my socket. Look at that. I think we're good. Clickage. Now we can do those 2 larger ones down below. Secure this guy right here. That's not fitting. Rotate. Last one. Clickage. Nice and tight like. Alright, we're done with that 1/2 inch now, I think. I do believe it is airbox time. Fetch that guy from the floor right y'all. Still has the 2 bolts in it. There's the grommet. That grommet is going to fit in that hole right there. So we just maneuver this unit right in. Plug that grommet in like so. See that go in? Now over here, plug the throttle body in. Get that into place. And then we've got the 2 10 mils. Oh, look what I've done. Yeah, that could have been extra bad, because if you tighten down the fasteners and smash the connectors, you can break them, and that would make for a very bad day. Either way, we have those connectors out now. So let's get those guys tightened down. That will secure the airbox. Set you aside. Oh. Let's get this guy all plugged back in. That's a click. Uno mas. That one, oh, that one had like a dull click, but it was there. Let's put our PCV hose back on, and of course the clamp for the throttle body. Let's get that guy tight. Come here, clamp. Tighten that guy down right there. Good. clamp clickage. All right, we're all set. Everything's back together. Let's grab some coolant, restart the engine, fill the coolant up, maybe not even in that order, and then, oh yeah, the floor jack. Let's get that out of here. Park you over here. We don't need that. Put that back, and tools are gone, goodies are gone from up here, nothing there, nothing there. Let's open up our coolant reservoir. That's super tight. Seriously? Why is that so tight? Unclick. Seriously? Come on. Two-hand operation. No, sir. That's not coming out. Need a tool. Okay. Well, haven't had that in a while. I choose these ones. These will work. Some miniature channel locks. Need more leverage. Look at that. Good. Okay, we've got a jug. It's about half full. I'm gonna fill it full of some of my BG snake oil coolant. The reason I say it's snake oil is you guys accuse all the rest of my BG products of being snake oil, so the antifreeze must be snake oil too. See the logic there? It's about fullish. Okay. Let's go dump this stuff in, fill up that reservoir bottle, restart the engine, let it come up to temp, make sure there's no leaks and drips and drains and whatever else is, things of that nature. And then this particular operation should be complete spillage. Let's try a unique style of pouring things. There's a fan behind me too. Let's see if I can pull this off. Nope, spilled it everywhere. That's fine, I'll use the water bottle to clean it. Aha! Fill it on up. Glug, glug, almost full. That's good enough for now. Get rid of that. Let's head into the cabin, restart this unit. I wonder if it's a keyed car or a push button car. Let's find out. Oh, no, we have a key. There we go. Beginning engine restarting sequence now. It is alive. All right. Okay, looking good so far. Let's take a look down below. We'll fetch that flashlight and taking a look. Not seeing any leaks out of the bottom of that pump. Very nice. The belt seems to be running straight and true. No noises. How's our coolant level situation going over here? Yep, it slurped up some of it. Okay. Beginning second pouring things event. Minimal spillages. It's an art form. That took a whole gallon. We need to add some more. Alrighty. So while that thing's coming up to temp, we can get our engine cover back on. Get rid of that. Some engines you can remove the oil fill cap while it's running. Some it will create a huge vacuum leak and you cannot. This one you can. And some of them it'll just spew oil out everywhere. This one's good. Okay, cover's back on. Airbox is back on. Connectors are connected, belts on. That's running. We have coolant, we have no leaks. Need to let this thing come up to temp, and this one is good to go. So, having said all that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out right now. I have nothing more to offer you except putting some wheels back on and cleaning up my mess. This video's run long enough, and I don't wanna bore you with the after effect details. So again, and as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Certainly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, again, and as always, please feel free to let me know about that in the comment section down below. Do not forget to tap that like and subscribe button while you're down there. And most importantly, have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later in the video, in the Equinox, in the water pump, end of transmission.